What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses, Sandra Bullock, walks into a luxury boutique dressed casually, without makeup, looking just like any ordinary woman? Instead of being treated with kindness, she's humiliated by the very manager who should have welcomed her. But just when things couldn't get worse, in walks Keanu Reeves. And what he does next shocks everyone and changes the entire room. This is a story you'll never forget. Imagine this. Sandra Bullock, one of Hollywood's most admired and beloved actresses, strolls casually into an exclusive luxury boutique on Rodeo Drive, the shopping street where only the wealthiest usually dare to spend. She isn't dressed for the spotlight. There are no flashing cameras, no stylist fixing her hair, no red carpet glow. Instead, Sandra appears just like any other woman running errands. A pair of simple jeans, a cozy oversized sweater, sneakers, and her hair tied loosely back. To the world outside those boutique doors, she is an Oscar-winning superstar, a woman who has headlined blockbuster films and won millions of hearts with her charm and talent. But inside that boutique, she looked at least to the staff like someone who didn't belong in a store where even the simplest accessory could cost thousands of dollars. The boutique itself radiated luxury. Soft golden lights sparkled off crystal chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. Rows of designer handbags, neatly arranged like works of art, glistened behind glass. Delicate perfumes scented the air, mixing with the quiet hum of classical music. Elegant mannequins wore dresses so expensive they could easily pay for a year of college tuition. Sandra entered quietly, taking in the beauty of the displays, her eyes lingering on a collection of handbags placed in the center of the room. She had no entourage, no assistant carrying her purse, just herself, enjoying the rare freedom of shopping like an ordinary person. But the room's atmosphere changed the moment she stepped inside. Instead of a warm greeting, their eyes narrowed, scanning her from head to toe. A couple of employees exchanged amused glances, their lips curving into knowing smirks. It was as if they had silently agreed, "She doesn't look like she can afford to be here." Sandra approached the handbag display, admiring the craftsmanship. She bent slightly to look closer, gently brushing her hand over the leather. Just then, she felt a pair of sharp eyes burning into her back. The boutique manager, a tall woman in a perfectly tailored suit, had stepped forward. Her arms were crossed, her chin lifted in superiority, and her smile carried no warmth. Whispers began to float between two staff members standing by the counter. Their voices were low, but Sandra could feel the energy shift. She didn't need to hear the exact words to know she was being judged. Every second felt heavier, as though the entire store had turned into a stage and she was the outsider who didn't belong in this performance of wealth and status. Sandra took a quiet breath, determined to stay calm. She had faced Hollywood critics, tabloids, and harsh paparazzi her whole life, but this moment felt different. This wasn't about her career, it was about being seen, or rather, not being seen at all. And soon, she would realize this day was about to become an unforgettable lesson not just for her, but for everyone watching. Sandra walked gracefully toward a stunning display of luxury handbags, each one gleaming under the soft golden lights. She reached out and let her fingertips glide across the fine Italian leather. Her eyes settled on one particular piece, sleek, elegant, and timeless. With a warm, polite tone, she turned to the manager and said, "Excuse me, could I see this one up close?" The manager, a tall woman with sharp features and an air of superiority, raised a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. She looked Sandra up and down, her eyes lingering on the casual jeans and sweater. Then, with a voice dripping in arrogance, she replied, "Ma'am, those bags are very expensive. I don't think they're within your budget." The words cut through the air like a blade. Sandra froze, her gentle smile fading instantly. She wasn't just hearing a refusal. She was being judged, reduced to nothing more than her appearance. For a moment, she stood silent, the atmosphere in the boutique growing heavier. She had faced critics, endured grueling interviews, and withstood the unforgiving lens of paparazzi. But this was different. It wasn't about her fame, her work, or her career. It was personal, directed at her dignity as a human being. Still keeping her composure, Sandra tried again, her voice calm yet firm. "I assure you, I'm interested in purchasing. Could you please show it to me?" But the manager only smirked, tilting her head slightly as if amused by Sandra's persistence. She let out a quiet laugh under her breath, then crossed her arms. Her words were louder this time, echoing across the boutique for everyone to hear. "Perhaps you'd prefer something from our clearance section at the back." A ripple of reaction spread through the boutique. Two women near the jewelry counter exchanged mocking glances, stifling laughter. A man browsing suits raised his eyebrows, curious but uncomfortable. And then there were other shoppers who looked down, pretending not to notice, too uneasy to intervene but silently disapproving. Sandra felt her cheeks burn. Her face flushed red, not from anger, but from the sting of humiliation. Her heart ached as a crushing thought pressed down on her. Years of hard work, awards, and respect from millions meant nothing in this moment. To these strangers, she was invisible, unworthy. She lowered her eyes, the sparkle gone. In that instant, Sandra Bullock, the actress admired by fans around the globe, felt smaller than she had in years. Her confidence wavered, and she silently told herself it wasn't worth the confrontation. Dignity meant walking away. Taking a quiet breath, she turned, ready to leave with whatever grace she could salvage. But just as her hand reached for the door, it swung open. And standing there was a figure who would change everything. In walked Keanu Reeves, the man millions around the world call Hollywood's true gentleman. Known for his humility, generosity, and quiet kindness, Keanu wasn't dressed to stand out. He wore simple black jeans, a plain t-shirt, and a jacket, the kind of outfit that could let him blend into any crowd. But despite the simplicity, his presence was magnetic. The atmosphere in the boutique shifted instantly, as if the air itself recognized who had just walked in. Keanu's sharp eyes scanned the room, and almost immediately he spotted Sandra. She wasn't standing tall and radiant as the world usually saw her. Instead, she looked fragile, her shoulders tense, her eyes glistening, her face trying to mask the pain of humiliation. Keanu's heart sank. He didn't need to ask what had happened. He could feel it in the silence of the room and in the judgmental stares still hanging in the air. Without hesitation, he walked straight toward her, his steps confident yet gentle. The entire boutique seemed to pause. Shoppers who had just witnessed the cruel exchange now whispered in disbelief. Two staff members froze behind the counter, their jaws slightly open. And the arrogant manager? Her eyes widened in shock, her smirk collapsing as she realized this wasn't just any customer entering. This was Keanu Reeves, one of the most respected and admired actors alive. "Hey, Sandra," Keanu said softly, his voice carrying both warmth and concern. He placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, grounding her in that moment. "Everything okay?" Sandra, who had been moments away from walking out in shame, felt a rush of relief at his presence. But still, her voice was low, fragile. "It's fine, Keanu. Let's just go." Her words were heavy with resignation, the kind that comes from someone who has decided it's easier to retreat than to fight. But Keanu wasn't one to let disrespect slide not when it was directed at someone he cared about. He turned his gaze back to the manager. His usually calm, kind eyes now carried a piercing intensity that silenced the room. The friendliness was still there, but beneath it burned a quiet authority that demanded respect. His voice, firm and unwavering, cut through the silence like a blade. "No," Keanu said. "It's not fine." The words hung in the air, commanding attention. Every eye in the boutique shifted to him. The arrogance on the manager's face faltered, replaced by unease. Shoppers leaned in closer, sensing they were about to witness something extraordinary. And Sandra, standing beside him, realized that the humiliation she had just endured was about to take a powerful and unexpected turn. Keanu's voice cut through the tense silence like thunder. He turned to the manager, his gaze steady and unshakable. "So you judged her based on her clothes? On her appearance? Do you even realize who you just insulted?" The manager's confident posture crumbled. Her eyes darted nervously around the boutique, hoping someone might rescue her from the weight of his words. She stammered, her arrogance quickly melting into panic. I didn't mean." But Keanu raised a hand, silencing her. His tone was calm, yet every syllable carried authority. "You didn't treat her with respect. And if you can't respect every customer who walks through those doors, then you don't deserve their business. Not hers. Not mine. Not anyone's." The boutique went still. Shoppers who moments earlier had pretended to ignore the scene now stood frozen, captivated by the unexpected turn. The hum of quiet music seemed distant, almost drowned out by the sheer weight of Keanu's presence. Then came the moment no one could have predicted. Keanu walked toward the main display and picked up the most expensive handbag in the buffet. A piece so rare and luxurious that most people wouldn't even dare to touch it. He turned back toward Sandra, his expression softening. "Sandra," he said, his voice warm and sincere, "this would look amazing on you." Sandra's eyes widened in disbelief. She shook her head quickly, embarrassed. "Keanu, no, it's okay. You don't have to." But before she could finish, Keanu was already at the register. He set the handbag down with confidence and looked the cashier directly in the eye. "I'll take it," he said firmly. The room gasped. That alone was enough to make a statement. But Keanu wasn't finished. He leaned slightly forward and added, "Actually, wrap up 5 more. Every color you have." The cashier blinked in shock. Shoppers whispered in awe. The boutique, moments ago filled with smug laughter and humiliation, now vibrated with astonishment. The manager stood rooted to the floor, her arrogance dissolving into sheer shame. Her face flushed, her lips parted as though to speak, but no words came out. She could only watch helplessly as Keanu pulled out his card, completely unfazed by the staggering total that appeared on the screen. When the bags were carefully packed and handed over, Keanu turned back to Sandra. His smile was genuine, filled with warmth. He placed the shopping bags gently into her hands. "You deserve nothing but the best," he told her. And then Keanu turned once more to the manager. His voice dropped low, calm but cutting like steel. "Make sure you remember this moment, because kindness costs nothing." But arrogance paused, letting the silence sink in can cost you everything. The room remained silent, every soul inside knowing they had just witnessed something unforgettable. Sandra, holding back tears, clutched the bags Keanu had handed her. Her voice trembled with emotion as she whispered, "Thank you, Keanu. You didn't have to do that." Keanu's smile was calm, almost humble, as though what he had done was the most natural thing in the world. "Sandra," he said softly, "people like you have given joy to millions. You've made people laugh, cry, and believe in love through your work. No one has the right to make you feel less than who you are. And besides, what's money if it can't be used to teach a lesson in respect?" Sandra's eyes welled with tears. It wasn't about the handbags. It wasn't about the money. It was about the simple, powerful truth behind his words. Dignity matters, kindness matters, and respect is priceless. As the two of them walked out of the boutique side by side, whispers erupted behind them. Customers who had witnessed the entire scene began pulling out their phones, quickly typing out posts and sharing the story online. Within hours, the incident had spread like wildfire. Headlines across entertainment news outlets screamed, Sandra Bullock humiliated in luxury store, Keanu Reeves steps in as a true hero. Keanu teaches arrogant boutique manager a lesson in kindness. Social media exploded. Fans flooded platforms with messages of admiration, praising Keanu not just for his generosity, but for his courage in standing up for someone he cared about. Hashtags like #RespectEveryone and #BeLikeKeanu began trending worldwide. Thousands of people shared their own stories of being judged unfairly based on appearances, and Keanu's act became a symbol of hope that decency and kindness could still make headlines in a world often focused on scandal. Meanwhile, the boutique faced a storm it could not contain. The arrogant manager, once so smug and confident, was forced to issue a public apology. But by then, the damage was done. Her reputation and that of the store was permanently stained. Customers vowed never to shop there again, demanding change and reminding businesses everywhere that respect should never have a price tag. As for Sandra, she walked away from the experience carrying far more than luxury handbags. She carried a renewed sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the friend who stood beside her. Gratitude for the reminder that even in moments of humiliation, true friends reveal themselves. That day, she realized something profound. True class isn't worn on the outside, it shines from within. And Keanu Reeves had just shown the world exactly what that looked like.